There's a charming humility to a seasoned professional wryly admitting to human frailty, like when a green-jacketed golfer aw-shucks his way out of missing an easy putt. But when it's the Bank of Canada governor telling a Senate committee, it's not like we got everything right, I'm just not feeling the warmth. Then Governor Tim Macklem went on to say a winter recession would not be severe. Not severe for whom exactly? As the bank governor well knows, a recession is when people lose their jobs and queues form at banks of another kind, those that give out free food. They are heading for a busy Christmas. How do we know that? Well, another seasoned professional is already out there managing expectations. While introducing her November economic update, Finance Minister Chrystia Freeland essentially told Canadians they were on their own. She said, "We cannot support every single Canadian in the way we did with emergency measures at the height of the pandemic." Well, I guess not. The very fact that the government of Canada paid millions of people to stay home in 2020 during the COVID-19 scare doubled the national debt in the process, raised fuel taxes, and sparked this inflation is why we're in this national mess to begin with. Now, obviously, Macklem is not a fool, nor is Minister Freeland, although her palsy-walsy ways with the World Economic Forum do concern me. I'll also concede that the Monday morning quarterback, me in this case, has it easy compared to the guy on the field on Saturday. However, never mind me. A lot of very ordinary people saw this whole thing coming. The inflation, that is, the soaring grocery prices, the supply chain problems, the housing crisis, the rising interest rates, and the rocketing price of fuel. These were people who didn't have economics degrees, but somewhere, maybe at high school, they had supply and demand explained to them like this. When you double the money supply, without doubling the supply of things to buy, prices tend to rise. And if you borrow that money, you have to pay it back one day. And when you put a tax on fuel, that price increase goes right through the economy because everything you buy comes by a truck or by a train that burns fuel. So people who knew even that much watched in horror as they first saw the government of Canada borrow more money in 2 years than had ever been borrowed in the entire history of Canada through 2 world wars, a depression, and a couple of recessions, all so that they could pay other people $2,000 a month to stay home. Second, they saw businesses ordered to close and stay closed. Third, they saw that in Trudeau's Canada, climate change couldn't wait, and they watched as Trudeau hiked the carbon tax on fuels. And the people with a grade 11 understanding of economics said, higher borrowing, higher fuel taxes, all leads to inflation. And that usually means raising interest rates. This probably won't end well. Anybody who knew that much also knew inflation was running at more than the declared 6 and 7%. They knew the stuff they actually bought, as opposed to what was measured, was rising in price far more quickly. Hopefully, they stocked up, because 2 days before Minister Freeland delivered her update, Statistics Canada confirmed what they already feared, that many staples were up more than 10%, and things like spaghetti were up 26%, and that old cheap fallback for tough times, the can of soup, that was up 30%. So if plain folk can figure out all that from their news feeds and what they see on the television, why did the experts do what they did that is apparently putting us into a recession? Ultimately, the problem is leadership. In Mr. Trudeau, we have a prime minister who thinks budgets balance themselves and who has declared himself disinterested in monetary policy anyway. He had alternatives. They all did. Those places that avoided lockdowns did no worse than those that ordered people to shelter in place. But surrounding himself with people who lack wisdom, most of whom made their careers in anything but business and have never met payroll in their lives, the drama teacher turned prime minister took the route of borrowing, spending, and daily photo ops. The easy route, the fun route. And while the Bank of Canada is supposedly arm's length from the federal government, you're dreaming if you think the bank doesn't pay attention to the federal narrative. Trudeau owns this. Just don't expect any charming humility. For the Western Standard, I'm Nigel Hannaford.
Here's today's market update. The biggest news to start the day is the Canadian dollar is up 1.3 cents, just under 74 cents per US dollar. Cash barley is unchanged at $4.55, and feed wheat's up $4 a ton to $4.78 per metric. Corn is down $4 a ton to $4.73 per metric. Taking a look at the milling wheat markets, December Minneapolis futures are up 15 3/4 cents to $9.59 per bushel, and local hard red spring wheat for December is at $12.25 per bushel delivered. In the oilseeds, nearby canola futures are up $8.40 to $9.05 per metric ton, and delivered values for December movement are at $20.03 per bushel. Looking at the pulse markets, they're largely unchanged, with red lentils remaining at 34 cents per pound, and yellow peas are holding steady at $13 a bushel. Taking a quick look at the cattle markets, December live cattle are down 17 cents to $151.75 per hundredweight. For more information on pricing and picked up on farm options, give me a call at 403-394-1711. I'm Mike Van Dyke at Marketplace Commodities, accurate real-time marketing information and pricing options.
Canadian Shooting Sports Association. Without the CSSA, our gun rights would have been taken long ago. These guys are on the front lines helping to draft smart and intelligent firearms regulations and legislation in Canada, and more importantly, educating the public about how we keep guns out of the hands of the wrong people. To become a member, it's absolutely worth every penny. You can become a Western Standard member for just $10 a month or $99 a year for unlimited access